Awesome. All right. Happy Thursday, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Kashaira. I am a business and brand strategist. I specialize in helping small business owners package their expertise, develop magnetic messaging, and create consistent revenue in their business. And I do that through my coaching programs, my books, and my membership community. And you can learn all about me at thepowercollective.co. Today, I am walking you through a live mini case study. So I am going to be doing a longer, more in-depth case study around this particular launch, but I wanted to give you at least the bare bone structure so that you can take what you need and leave what you don't. So today we're going to be talking about the launch of the Shift Your Power brand that I had a few weeks ago on February 18th. I want to walk you through what happened with that launch, how the card sold out twice, the tweet that went viral, everything that happened around it, and give you some insight. So first, just to give you some backstory for those of you that are like, what are you even talking about? What's Shift Your Power? Shift Your Power is a brand of affirmation cards and affirmation journals. So I don't have anything with me because everything is gone. And then the inventory I just received of the journals are at my house, but they are affirmations catered towards business owners, creatives, side hustlers, freelancers, whatever term you choose to identify with. Hello in France. I love what you do too. Thank you, sis. I appreciate that. So it was catered towards business owners. And so I talked about why I was inspired to create the cards on a different live stream, which is also on my podcast. If you subscribe to my podcast, which is called The Bombshell Diaries, it's on every platform. It's episode 80 called Money and Mindset. So I talked about why the cards were birthed in that. So that's what we're going to cover today. We're not going to rehash that story. But just so you know what we're talking about, Shift Your Power was a brand of affirmation cards and a journal. These were low ticket items. The affirmation cards were $25. The journal was $15. And if you purchased the bundle deal, you were able to get both for $35. So the price points of these things will come up a little bit later. So just remember those things in your mind, okay? So I launched them on February 18th with a live stream broadcast. I went live on Instagram, Facebook, and Periscope. Okay. And so February 18th was an important date because it was actually National Wine Day. And so I chose that day intentionally. I actually looked up social media holidays to see if there was anything that would happen in February outside of Valentine's Day. So I felt like that would be corny. That I could leverage to sell these cards. And so I picked National Wine Day because I knew that the live stream that I would have to sell this would have to be very, very transparent, very authentic, almost emotional, but I'm not the cry on social media kind of girl. Like that's just, it's just not my ministry. But, I know that the nature of the conversation would be a little heavy. So I figured if we all had some wine, it would be an easier dialogue because we were talking about mindset. We were talking about esteem. We were talking about money blocks and limiting beliefs and behaviors that maybe you picked up from childhood or you picked up from your friends. Like a lot of heavy things could be uncovered there, but of course ended it on a positive note. So they launched on the 18th. Sales were amazing for that first day. And then what happened was I ended up doing 3 more live streams over the next couple of days, and I did a total of 4 Instagram posts over the next 4 days. I noticed on February 20th, because if you have an Instagram business account, you can check this. I noticed that I lost around 100 followers, which in the grand scheme of life isn't a ton, as at that time, I had 20,000 some followers. So in a grand scheme of life, I wasn't going to be hurting over it, but that was interesting because that's a big drop. I've never seen, people come and go, followers come and go, but I've never seen that big of a drop at one time. So again, if you have an Instagram business account under analytics, you can see, not only how many followers you lost, but how many followers you gained and when that happened. And so I saw the spike. It wasn't like, 5 here, 10 there. It was like, no, like the spike was like launch day and then right after, right? So that's what happened. And I believed within the whole week, like a week post that date, the actual lost follower count maybe got up to 150, right? So keep that in your mind. So again, I'm telling you, I launched on the 18th, post the 18th, I did 3 more live streams, and I had 4 Instagram posts that I did. In the background, I started to ship affirmation cards immediately. So I started to ship things immediately, and the benefit of shipping immediately was people started to post their cards. I believe somebody got theirs literally the very next day after I put them in the mail. And so I was reposting everyone and leveraging this original content to market, but I was mainly just doing this in my stories and also on Twitter. And so that also helped to spark interest, spark the marketing. And so word of mouth is still very, very powerful. Testimonials and reviews are still very, very powerful. Please don't skip out on that customer experience. And also, don't take for granted that just because somebody likes something, they're going to post about it. They're not. And so I made sure to put really nice cards in the packages that encourage people to post when they pulled their first card. So that being that. So here's where the viral thing happened. So I put on Twitter a tweet, and I think I might have shared it on Instagram as well, a tweet where I talked about how I lost 100 followers on the 20th, but on the 20th, the total revenue earned from selling the affirmation cards and journals was about $1,200. Now, thinking about $1,200, I made more than that yesterday in one day from services, but from something that's $25 and $35, that's actually pretty good, right? And so I put in my tweet, hey, I lost 100 followers, but I surpassed what my revenue goal was for that 2-day launch period, because I didn't expect to hit 4 figures until the weekend, right? So I put, hey, I made this money, so don't get caught up in the vanity metrics, right? It was meant to be an encouraging moment versus like a bragging, like, oh, look at me. It's like, no, don't look at me. Just take this and don't get frustrated, because as a coach, I work with so many people who do take things personally when it comes to the vanity metrics, who are very caught up in the followers and in the comments and all of that stuff. And that stuff doesn't always equate to dollars. It doesn't always equate to money. And so that tweet, interestingly enough, went viral. I had no idea that it would. It's not like I go viral often. It's very rare. And the reason why I think that it went viral is because I feel like people resonated with it. I feel like people are, to my point, stressing about followers, are probably over analyzing their analytics, are probably thinking that they're doing something wrong if they get unfollows and unsubscribes and things like that. So I feel like for people, this was like encouragement. So from that viral tweet, within 48 hours, I had gained 700 plus followers on Twitter. I gained 1,000 Instagram followers, and I gained 1,200 email subscribers. The affirmation card sold out 1 week to the date of the launch. And then the pre-orders sold out as well. So I want to walk you through a couple of things. Now that you have the full scope of what happened within that week, I want to walk you through why I think that the followers were lost. I want to walk you through why I was able to gain those subscribers as well as those sales. Because again, I can't sit here and tell you, don't pay attention to the vanity metrics and then sit here and obsess over why I gained 1,000 followers. Like, I don't really care about the follower growth. I care about the email signups and the sales. So I want to talk to you about like the strategy behind how that actually worked itself out, because I wasn't even in a position to capitalize on it, because when this was really going down, I was at a speaking engagement out of town. I was working the whole day. I was not even, the day that things really, really got intense from a good perspective, I was not in front of my computer the whole day. I was unable to, but I had systems, technologies, and strategies working for me in the background. And tomorrow we'll talk more. I have a video coming for you all, a live stream, where I'm going to talk to you about how to prepare your business to go viral so that you can make the most of it. So we'll go into more detail about that tomorrow. But for the sake of today, let's start with why I feel like I lost those followers. And as you're tuned in, I know a lot of you are taking notes, but feel free to ask questions. Someone on Facebook said that the one person unsubscribed to their email list and they almost cried. Don't take it personally. And trust me, once you start paying for your email list, you'll be like, good riddance, because I feel like I'm about to have to upgrade my email account, and I do not want to do so. I do not want to pay these people no more money. So, and actually I purge my list pretty often. Probably 2 to 3 times a year, I purge my list of people who aren't opening emails and who aren't engaging, because I'm not paying for that. So That's my word on that for the day. So in terms of why I feel like I lost those followers, one thing that I am very clear on is that Shift Your Power does not look like anything I've done in the last couple of years. That brand, first of all, the colors are drastically different. I worked with my graphic designers to say I wanted something that looked mystical and unicorn like, and that would be inspiring. I wanted a color scheme that was bright. I wanted something that, really just like inspire people, because the whole point of the affirmation cards is to get you, in the zone and get you motivated. So I know when I start posting them, because people's like, what is this? Who is this? Right? Secondly, it's not what I've been marketing. I am a business coach. I've been marketing services. I've been marketing my membership group. I've been marketing free ebooks. And so now it's something drastically different. And so thinking about alignment for a lot of people, it's like, I follow you for this thing. Like, I don't want to see this other thing, which is why typically I tell people who have multiple businesses to create multiple Instagram profiles, because everybody doesn't want to one-stop shop. However, because the target audience for these cards very much aligned with the target audience for my services, it made sense for me to leverage my personal profile to market it. However, it didn't take over my personal profile. I knew that the max number of direct to timeline posts I would do for these cards was 5. If that was my maximum, I'm like, after that, it's all lives, it's all stories. And Shift Your Power Affirmations does have its own Instagram account where affirmations are posted regularly and you get that whole aesthetic, right? So someone on Instagram asked, do you think the date chosen played a big part? Not necessarily. Not necessarily at all. And I've experimented with different launch dates. I tend to launch things either on Tuesdays, Tuesdays or Wednesdays are tend to be when I launch things, and they tend to work for me. But I don't necessarily think that the launch date in particular impacted this. So most people tend to launch on Thursdays because it's closer to like payday, but I didn't have any issues with people who were unable to purchase the affirmation cards, at least none that no one told me about. So okay, so that's the second reason why I feel like those followers were lost. It was just like, okay, and those people who remove themselves because it's like, hey, I only follow you for like business and marketing advice. It's interesting because to me as well, mindset is so ingrained in how I coach anyway, that to me they're like eliminating themselves as, hey, I'm not your target customer, and that's okay with me. Again, I want to make sure that who I'm communicating to with my messaging, people who are actually going to be my target customer profile. Because yes, you could have the problem that I'm equipped to solve, but coaching is still a relationship, and we still need to connect. You still need to vibe with me, to trust me, and be receptive of my advice, and to take the feedback and recognize that this is for your growth and not to hurt you. And I'm pretty good with giving feedback. Like I'm not someone that's just like really rough or whatever. Like I'm pretty gentle with how I deliver things. But at the same time, because it's a coaching relationship, like you have to come into it like that, right? And I tell a lot of people when they come into it, like, hey, there are going to be some difficult moments because we are going to have to do some kind of mindset shift. That mindset shift could have to do with your money beliefs. It could be around your productivity. It could be around how you market online. Like it could be a number of different things, but that's part of entrepreneurship, right? I did it. We all have to do it, right? So anyway, again, I don't trip about stuff like that because that person is removing themselves from the pool, and that's totally fine with me. I'd rather have a small number of clients and customers who are the right fit than have a large number of those who just don't align and who become problem clients and problem children, because I don't have time, right? So that's that. But then also another message. Just because somebody unfollows or unsubscribes now doesn't mean that they won't come back later. People will come back. Sometimes people have to remove themselves for like personal reasons where it's like, hey, I have to detox my timeline. I need to take a mental break. I can't do this anymore. I can't think about this anymore. Sometimes it's more about them than it is about you, right? And I remember last year or the year before, I can't remember when I was doing this. Dates run together for me. When I was doing my nationwide dinner tour, I went to Detroit for my dinner tour, and one of the ladies there told me, she's like, I was reading your blog back when you started in 2013. I was with you for a while, but then I unsubscribed because I just needed like a break. I couldn't think about entrepreneurship. I couldn't think about all of this stuff. But then I came back and I bought your book and I did this and I did that, right? And so again, it's like I appreciated that because I feel like when she told me that in the moment, I probably needed that reassurance. But it was one of those things where people will come back if they need to, if they want you. So I wouldn't stress about it at all. Okay. So that's my perspective on why I feel like those followers are lost. And it was just interesting to watch. Like, it's very interesting. Like, But then it's like people who sometimes also won't follow you will still be lurking. So make sure you take a note of that. So in terms of why I feel like my email list drastically grew. So again, the virality stuff started on Twitter. And so on my Twitter profile, I actually have in my bio, because on Twitter, you can have hyperlinks almost everywhere, right? So on Twitter, I actually have a direct link to a free download in my bio. So in my bio, there's a call to action to download a freebie. So as people were looking at my profile, it was like immediate call to action, immediate something that you can do to get in my pipeline. Then also on Twitter, similar to like a Facebook business page, you can have a pinned post. Just like those of you watching on Instagram, you have a pinned comment. You can have a pinned post. So that pinned post is what they will see first before they see all of your other tweets. And so that pinned post was promo for the affirmation cards. Now, one thing that's important to know with how I promoted these affirmation cards, I had beautiful promotional graphics that my graphic designer made me with mock-ups and things like that. And I used them, but I used them secondary to authentic pictures of me holding these cards. So people could see, because I feel like sometimes with mock-ups, it's like, people struggle with those sometimes, not all the time, just sometimes, because it's like, do you actually really have these? Like, am I paying for a pre-order? Am I just paying for paper? And like a pet peeve of mine as someone who really loves like affirmation cards and meditation cards, it's like, I want it to be a card. I don't want it to be no business card or no flimsy paper. Like, I want it to be a good card. And so I would take pictures holding different ones. I picked maybe 5 cards that I would share out of the 53 card deck during the launch. And so I picked, for that pinned post, I had like 1 card that I was holding, and I was holding the journal, and then I had the actual nice mock-up graphic that my designer made. And so I do also feel like the choice in imagery also influenced buying decisions. So then that was the pinned post. So it was really easy for people when they went to my Twitter profile to see the direct call to action for the free thing in the bio, then see the pinned post of the affirmation cards on my feed and want to buy it. And also, let's pause for the cause. It also helps if the cards were cute, okay? Please don't slack. If you're creating a physical product, at least it needs to look good. It needs to look nice. I did not design them cards myself. I paid somebody to take my vision and translate it, because I am decent with design, but I'm not that good at design where I'm comfortable like, hey, putting this out and hoping for the best, right? So I did invest in it, and I did invest in a good journal designer as well in terms of the cover and the interior. And so my message for you is, you're putting out a book or some kind of physical product where the aesthetic is going to matter, you will need to invest in that. I'm a huge fan of Canva. That's where I design my, my postcards that went in the mailers, but I'm not going to rely on me and Canva to design cards. I'm just so sad I don't have them to show you, but when they get here, I can't wait, which I probably won't even show you because the pre-order sold out, which is the next part of this. So these pre-orders have been stressing me out because there was a delay on the shipment. I'm getting the shipment in on Monday. They were supposed to go back. They were supposed to be back last week. Luckily, none of my customers were upset. I sent emails to everyone immediately, which is a whole side note, crisis communication. When things come up, communicate with your customers and clients. Please don't sit there and keep them in the dark. That's how you run into issues and chargebacks, and you are an untrustworthy brand. I emailed them immediately. I was super apologetic, which I am, because I was mad when I found out. And I also offered them something free. So I offered them a bundle of some of my business classes, where I was like, hey, and this is the bundle that I gave them was not an existing freebie. It was something that I previously sold. I believe I sold that bundle for $47, which is more than they spent on the bundle of the cards and the journal, just so that they can know, like, hey, I recognize that this is not acceptable, so here's something for you. And then I also said in that email, if this wait is unacceptable for you, let me know and I will cancel your order immediately. I will issue you a refund, no questions asked. And to date, no one has asked for it. And if they do, I won't be mad, because I get in my feelings when my orders get delayed all the time. So just a little bit of crisis communication 101 for you. So anywho, cards sold out within a week of the launch date. I just gave you some insight on why I feel like my email list grew. Oh, Instagram. So Instagram, a lot of people moved over from Twitter to Instagram. And then on Instagram, I also had a shout out from CC, Six Figure Chick, who has like, I don't know, 100 million followers at this point in life. She be killing it out here. So CC actually bought affirmation cards in bulk from me to use as client gifts. So she showed them. And what was so interesting is CC actually DM'd me, and she posted this publicly so I can talk about it. But she told me that like for February she wanted to make 100K in that month, and she was like she was close, but she just wasn't feeling it. She wanted to just throw in a towel, start over again the next month. But she pulled the card from my deck that said I can make $100,000 with ease. I can make $1,000,000 with ease, and that actually inspired her to like get up and do one final push. And literally when the clock struck 12, she made a little over 100K, and so she posted that. So then that also brought a surge of followers over, and people wanted the cards, people wanted to get connected with me. And so the link in my Instagram bio, it does not go to a home page. It goes to a curated private page on my website with different buttons. It looks like Linktree, but it's branded. It's on my site. And I get to collect all of that data through my Google Analytics. And so and then that link in my bio, there was not only a link for the affirmation cards, but then there's links to my different freebies, to my coaching, to my podcast. So people were able to really go in there and explore. Don't take for granted people's nosiness, okay? People like to click around and look at stuff, but when you send them directly to a homepage, it's like, okay, exit out. Versus when I give you like a little directory, when it's like, hey, here's all of the different things you can do. And I lead with a lot of the complimentary stuff, the easy, what I like to call in my coaching, the low risk invitation stuff. Like all of those things are at the top, right? So that again, I recognize I sell coaching. Coaching is not something that you just wake up today and say, okay, yes, I'm ready to pay you. It's like, no, you need to get to know me, you need to be nurtured, understand what I do. So I'd rather get you into my pipeline with my free content so that you can know, like, and trust me to then want to move forward, versus simply just follow me on Instagram where the algorithm could change and you can never see me again, honestly. So I don't like to put all of my eggs in one basket. And so I want to wrap up talking to you all about the pre-order strategy. But before I do, I want to just emphasize a couple of core points, because I know the story is just like mad long. It's not my usual 1, 2, 3, 4, but I want to just call out some important things that I want you to think about. First thing I want you to think about is that people value authenticity. Outside of the whole viral thing, with even the live stream in itself and with the sales that came in from that went really well because of the authentic nature. I didn't get on here and act like I'm just holier than thou, and I've just been so perfect and I got all of the answers. It's like, no, my sales pitch literally led with my own story, my own journey of shifting my own money mindset in order to get out of my own way so that my revenue could triple within 2 years, right? So that's that. And then even thinking about that tweet that did go viral. I didn't go viral because I made up some quote or I stole somebody's quote meme or anything like that. Like, I went viral because I shared an authentic experience, and then I shared what I feel a good lesson learned from that could be. People valued that. That's why it spread like wildfire. The second thing I want you to call out from this: word of mouth, reviews, testimonials are still relevant. I told you that I did four IG posts and 3 live streams to market this. All other marketing came from people who bought the cards. Every other piece of marketing I put in my stories or that I just reposted in maybe my Facebook group or on Twitter were not my own. They were from happy customers, excited customers. So don't take for granted the value that reviews and testimonials can bring for you. Okay, the third thing I want you to think about is having the right tech set up to support growth in your business, right? If you wake up tomorrow and discover that you went viral and you had 10,000 new followers, right? What was happening with your bio and your feed and your posts to actually substantiate that growth, to get those folks migrated over from social media platforms that we don't own and we don't control over to our databases, to our websites, so we do actually own that real estate, okay? So if you were on last night's webinar, Positioned for Power, where I talked a lot about how in my mastermind group, we talk a lot about this. We talk about what's your brand story, who are you marketing to, what's your messaging, what's your branding, how do you attract those high-end customers that will not only, again, buy from you, but become brand champions and advocate for you. And so last night on the webinar, I offered everyone that was tuning in a complimentary brand alignment session. And I want to extend that same thing to you. It's linked in my Instagram bio. It's linked everywhere else, where you can go ahead and book that brand alignment session. What's going to happen on that call is we're going to assess and audit your business as is. We're going to talk about your goals and your vision. We're going to assess the gaps, and then we're going to see if I'm the right person to assist you with closing that gap within a 90-day time period. We do work fast over here at the Power Collective. So let's talk about the pre-order strategy. So when the card sold out, there was about a 24-hour period where I just had sold out, and I put a button on my site that said, sign up to be notified if you want to buy the cards when they come back. And so I put on Twitter, Instagram stories, and in my Facebook group, I did polls, and I said, hey, are you interested in pre-ordering the cards? Now, let me pause for the cause here, because I received so many pieces of unsolicited feedback saying, girl, just do pre-orders, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, ma'am, I know what I'm doing. I am a marketing coach. Okay? Part of the reason why I asked people before I put it up is because people get skeptical at pre-orders. You're essentially taking somebody's money, right? And telling them to wait for X amount of time, sometimes months, to get their stuff. Everybody's not quick to pre-order. That's why if you ever see me pre-order a book, I tend to give bonuses that are available right away, because people want that instant gratification, right? And yes, the cards were hot, they were popular, but I'm not going to assume that because everybody's talking about it, everybody's willing to pay for it, right? And so that's why some people will spend all of this time making these courses, because people are talking about it, but then when they put it out, they don't make any money. There is no ramp up of interest and excitement around the thing. And so part of marketing is to generate interest and generate excitement, and to also create this desire to grab this thing up once it's available. So no, I wasn't literally sitting here waiting for you all to make a business decision for me. It's more so, let me get you excited, and let me also create scarcity by alluding to the fact that there is a chance that these cards won't come back, right? So I gathered interest first, and then 24 hours later, I put up the pre-sale page. I did not do any more lives. I did not do any more posting. I put up the pre-sale page, and I did one story and one tweet about the pre-sales. Before I could even do the story and the tweet about the pre-sales, there were already 15 orders that came in overnight before I even woke up. So yes, me putting that question out, right, still had people going to this page looking and lurking anyway. So that's important to know. So again, after I did those direct posts, I didn't really do anything else. I moved on to the next project. And again, all of my marketing was reposting customers and consumers. Okay. So in my Facebook group, I'm consistently posting affirmations regularly. Last week, I only did one for the week. This week, I've been doing them every single day. And on those affirmations is the website. On the affirmation graphic, there's the website where you can buy the cards. Also on the affirmation card Instagram page, which is Shift Your Power Affirmations, same deal. I've been posting affirmations every day with the URL on the graphic. And I didn't even have a call to action in the description box, and people were still buying the cards off of that. So there is something to be said for generating interest, building buzz, and even ramping up your relaunch, which if you were on last night's webinar, what I told you, you need to be launching and relaunching your products and services. Stop dropping your stuff in the middle of the night like a mixtape. We are not, who's a hot rapper right now? Meg Thee Stallion. We are not Meg Thee Stallion. Or Beyonce. We can't just put out something in the middle of the night. Everybody gonna buy it and love it and pick it up. Like, no, we need to ramp up. We need to market. We need to get people excited. And we need to know what direction we want to take our business in, and then leverage our communication tools like social media to get folks hype about it. Like, period. So, with that being said, thank you all for watching. I pray that this was helpful for you when you were able to gather some gems from this broadcast. Again, click the link in my bio or the link above to schedule your complimentary brand alignment session. Let's assess what's going on in your business. Let's get you prepared to get in position to go viral. And let's see if you're a good fit for the Founder Circle Mastermind program. So, with that, have an amazing rest of your Thursday, and I'll talk to you soon.